What's up, guys? I'm Matthew. Welcome to KidZ Online.
And I'm Corey, and believe it or not, Matthew and I are actually the guys that put the videos together and put them online for you. Ooh, Matthew, get that edit done, son!
Yeah! Yo, so it's a new month. Do you know what that means?
A
new life app!
And if it's your first time joining us, or you need a refresher, a life app is something that God is changing in you to affect the world around you.
This month's life app is faith. Faith is trusting in something you can't see because of something you can see.
And Matthew and I can't always see or don't always know the end result of these videos. Okay, Matthew, if you can just move that one piece from right there.
This one right here?
Yeah, uh-huh. No, when you gotta alter it and move it over a little bit.
Alter it.
No.
I deleted it.
Why you deleted the whole thing? Matthew, no! But we have faith that God has put the skills and the know-how in us, and that He will see us through it, so we'll get a great video for you.
Yeah, we will. Hey, do you know something else that needs a lot of faith? Trick shots! And just like what we were just talking about, trick shots take a lot of faith because you don't know if you're always gonna make it, but you have faith that you will. Check these out.
Okay, some of those trick shots were amazing. I wouldn't even attempt to do some of those.
Me either. I mean, even some of our KidZ staff, they missed by like a mile, but they had the faith to shoot anyway.
Just because you can't see the end of something doesn't mean you shouldn't try. And that reminds me of our memory verse for this month. It comes from Hebrews 12:2. It says, "Let us keep looking to Jesus. He is the one who started this journey of faith, and He is the one who completes this journey of faith."
And that means that we have to keep looking to Jesus. No, we can't actually see Jesus, but we can see what He did in the Bible and what He's doing in our lives today. And when we study the Bible, we can see what God did and what He's still doing. And that just shows that we serve a big God. How awesome is that?
So one of the ways we can serve our big God is by worshiping Him. So let's stand up and join each other in worship.
This is my faith, this is my focus, all of my days. I know where my hope is, I live it loud, I shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. I fix my eyes on you. This is my faith, this is my focus, all of my days. I know where my hope is, I'll live it loud. I shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my I'll keep on looking, looking, looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my oh, you are my only focus. You are my focus. I'll fix my eyes on you, on you, on you.
Wow, that worship was amazing, wasn't it, guys?
And you know what else is amazing? Matthew and I have been working so hard on videos for Adventure Week.
We have some epic stuff planned for Adventure Week. Videos each day and a few chances to win some pretty cool prizes.
And it's not too late to register. Get your parents and go to prestonwood.org/adventureweek. Again, prestonwood.org/adventureweek. You are gonna love it. It's gonna be one of the best week of your lives online.
Yes, it will. But we're not done with this week's video yet. Check out this awesome true story from the Bible.
Hey Prestonwood kids, hope you guys are having a great morning. I'm so happy to be with you today and talk with you about one of my very favorite subjects. But first of all, I want to show you something really cool. Okay, I want to show you something that I can actually predict. This trick is going to amaze you. Okay, if I drop this basketball on the ground right here, I predict that it's going to bounce off the floor and come right back to my hands. It worked. Now that wasn't really amazing, right? Because I know there's something called gravity, and I believe in gravity, and gravity is what pulls the basketball down to the floor and it bounces back up. Now, even though I can't see gravity, I still believe in it, right? So what does it mean if you believe in something that you can't see? Well, that is faith. And that's what we're talking about today. And actually, you probably believe in a lot of things too that you can't see. What about when you walk outside and you know that it's a really windy day? Can you actually see the wind? You can't, but you still believe that it's there. So you have faith that the wind is there, even though you can't see it. Just like maybe the atoms that make up inside of our bodies, or our mind that thinks, and our emotions and our heart that feels, we can't see those things, but we know they're there. We have faith that they're there. Just like we have faith in all these things, God calls us to have faith in Him, even though we can't always see Him. And there's a chapter in the Bible, Hebrews chapter 11, and it lists a lot of people in the Bible that chose to have faith when they couldn't see or they didn't understand what God was doing. Maybe they were walking through a hard time in life, or God was calling them to do something really big, and they had faith and believed even though they couldn't see God. So let's watch this quick video and learn more about some of these people in what we call the Hall of Faith in Hebrews chapter 11.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Hebrews, chapters 11 and 12.
Gotta have a little faith, 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 faith. Keep the faith. Take a leap of faith. You know, a lot of people toss around the word faith lately. We say you can break the faith, or just take it all on blind faith. But true faith isn't blind at all. It's much more than just an inspirational word. True faith has to do with believing in all the things you can't see, because you start with what you can see. Now, we can't see God with our physical eyes, but we can see the stories of people who came before us. They lived in a broken world like we do, but they chose to follow God. They chose to trust His promise that one day He would send a rescuer that would make everything right again. The writer of Hebrews in the New Testament tells us about some of these men and women in God's story. People like Noah, people like Abraham. When God called Abraham, he was already getting old. He and his wife Sarah didn't have kids.
Leave your country and your people. Leave your father's family. Go to the land I will show you. All nations on earth will be blessed because of you.
God was planning on sending his rescuer as one of Abraham's great, etc. grandchildren. But still, even though Abraham had God's promise, he still couldn't see the one God was sending. Still, Abraham went on a wild adventure, following God's call, and even his descendants, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph, all chose faith in God. Moses, too, was called by God from the fiery heart of a burning bush. Even though he was raised by Pharaoh's daughter, he chose to stand with his own people and face Pharaoh's anger to win freedom. We read about it like this in the book of Hebrews.
Moses suffered shame because of Christ. He thought it of great value.
See, when you check out Hebrews, you discover this huge list of people who followed God by faith, so many that the writer just stops trying to list all of them. Oh, but we can't forget Israel's most important king, David.
Get up and anoint him. This is the one.
Even though God had promised David would be king, though, David spent years on the run from King Saul, fearing for his life. Still, he chose to trust God.
The Lord is my shepherd. He gives me everything I need.
Now, none of these people in the Old Testament could see with their eyes how God was going to save his people, but they could see how he was working in their lives, how their needs were being met. So they chose to believe in his greater plan. They chose faith.
Faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. That is what the people of long ago were praised for.
Now, here's where the story turns. In Hebrews, we discover that none of those people in the Old Testament received what God had promised here on earth.
That's because God had planned something better for us, so they would only be made perfect together with us.
God's plan includes all of us from the very beginning of creation. So at just the right moment, at the perfect point in time, God sent his rescuer, the hero, his very own son, Jesus. Jesus showed us how to live. He showed us what God was like, and he told us the most important thing.
If you love one another, everyone will know you are my disciples.
Love God, love others. It's the heart of the whole story. But then, Jesus was killed, and his friends thought the story was finished. Period. Dot. The end. Until God raised him back to life. Jesus has defeated death, and those who follow him can live with him forever. But how do you follow someone you can't see? Well, that brings us back to faith.
Let us keep looking to Jesus. He is the one who started this journey of faith, and he is the one who completes this journey of faith. He paid no attention to the shame of the cross. He suffered there because of the joy he was looking forward to. So think about him. Then you won't lose hope.
The early believers, Peter and John and other followers of Jesus, had seen him teach and heal. They saw him after God raised him to life. But after Jesus returned to heaven, the believers continued to live by faith.
We have to speak about the things we've seen and heard.
Because of what the new Christians in the early church had seen, they could believe in what they could not yet see, the end of the story, where God makes everything right. They kept the faith, and because they did, we can choose faith too.
So now that we've heard more about some of the people in what we call the Hall of Faith, Hebrews chapter 11, and how they chose to believe even when it was hard, and they chose to believe and trust in God's promises even when they couldn't see him, we can do the same thing. Let's look at Hebrews 11, verse 1, and see what it has to say about faith. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. That just means faith is being sure, absolutely sure, that God is there and God is real, even when we can't see him. That's having faith. And just like Noah and Abraham and Moses and David all chose faith when things were hard or when God was asking them to do something really important, we can choose faith. And actually, their faith can make our faith stronger. Because when we see how they believed and they chose faith, we can do exactly what they did. And that's why it's so important to stay in God's word and learn from so many of the examples that God gives us in his word. Now, have you ever actually told Jesus that you believe in him and that you have faith in him, that you believe that he's real? That's something that's really important to do. The first thing you want to do is you want to admit that you are a sinner and that you do things that are wrong. You want to say, Lord, I know I mess up a lot. I know I'm not perfect like you're perfect. I know sometimes I disobey my parents. Sometimes I tell lies. I know that I need you because I am a sinner. And then you want to believe. Just like we talked about today, you want to choose to have faith and believe in Jesus even when you can't see him, and believe that he died on the cross just for you. And because you are a sinner, he took the punishment that should have been yours, and he took it on himself and died on the cross and took the punishment for your sins. You want to tell him that you believe that. And then lastly, you want to confess. You want to say, I know that you are God. I know that you are Lord. And I know that you died on the cross for me. And I believe in you. If that's something you've never done, we would love to talk to you more about that and pray with you. If you want to talk to a parent about that today, we would love to talk to you more about that. But for now, this week, focus on the word faith and think about what it means to believe in something you can't see. Maybe memorize Hebrews 11:1. And keep that close by and read it throughout the week just to remind yourself that it's so important to have faith in God. Well, I got to go work on some more of my tricks, but I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.